32 million. That's how many Nigerian coins the British government snatched up and melted down in 1948. 32 million individual pieces of bronze and copper. If you lay them end to end, they will stretch from Lagos to London and back again. This wasn't just a collection, it was the liquid wealth of an entire region, gathered over centuries. Imagine walking into a bank with your life savings, centuries of family wealth, and being told it's now worth exactly this. In 1948, the British Empire pulled off the greatest currency heist in history. They didn't use guns or masks, they used an exchange rate. And to understand why they were so afraid of a piece of metal, we have to look at what they were actually trying to kill. The Manila had one feature that made it dangerous. While European currencies rose and fell with wars and depressions, the Manila didn't move. It was a currency Britain didn't own, couldn't print, and couldn't devalue. That's what made it a threat. And this wasn't some crude barter talking. It was a proper monetary system. The Anthony was the big player, the heavy, ornate Manila used for high-stakes trade, land ownership, and marriage settlements. Then you had the Mporo and the fingers for the everyday hustle of the market. It was a system that worked for everyone, from the wealthiest merchants to the smallest farmers. To the people of the Niger Delta, this was a real value. It outlasted the slave trade and multiple empires. It was the backbone of the palm oil boom, and it was the one thing standing between Britain and total economic control. The Manila wasn't a problem because it was inefficient. It was a problem because it was independent. And as long as Nigerian markets ran on a currency Britain didn't print, London couldn't touch it. After the Second World War, Britain was essentially bankrupt. They needed the resources of West Africa, the palm oil, the cocoa, the timber, to rebuild their shattered economy. But they didn't want to buy these things with real wealth. They wanted to buy them with a paper currency they controlled. The Manila was a barrier to that exploitation. They couldn't tax what they couldn't track, so the empire decided to rewrite the rules of math itself. The Manila redemption exercise took place in 1948. The British set the rate at 3 Manilas for 1 penny. Not 1 Manila for a penny, but 3. Think about the math of that betrayal. They were telling a person who had saved 3 units of wealth that it was now worth only 1. They effectively deleted 66% of a nation's savings overnight. It was a state-sponsored robbery disguised as an administrative exercise. Accept the rate or your savings are worthless by law. Over the following months, 32 million Manilas were collected and fed into the orange glow of a furnace. But the British didn't just stop at Nigeria. They were creating a blueprint for control that is still locking down 14 countries today. Think about a woman in Onitsha market in 1948. She has built her stall over 20 years. Her Manilas represent every transaction, every debt repaid, every deal honored. They called it ceremonial, as if that woman was playing pretend with her own life. This is the ultimate colonial gaslighting. To label a legitimate, functional currency as ceremonial is to erase the fact that an African civilization had its own thriving, independent and economy long before the British arrived. Across British West Africa, the same pattern played out, and when France did it later, locking down 14 African countries into the CFA franc, they were using the exact blueprint Britain had already proven worked. The heist of 1948 wasn't an ending, it was the beginning. It was the birth of a monetary system designed to keep African wealth flowing outward.